I was kind of hoping that I'd end up liking her a little bit more book 2, but no. Hi guys, it's April, and I'm gonna do this review the same way I do all of my other reviews. I'm gonna have the non-spoilery section up front, followed by the spoiled filled dump afterwards, in case you don't want to spoil yourself. But of course, as always, you can decide, and I'm just glad that you're here to listen to words that you may or may not agree with. I will also let it be known that I received a review copy of the Camelot Betrayal by Kiersten White for a free and honest review, but that in no way has swayed my opinion on this book. It's just something that I thought I'd let you know up front. Now, this is also book 2 in the Camelot Rising series, so there will be spoilers for book 1. So if you haven't read book 1 and you don't want to spoil yourself, this is probably not the review for you. Otherwise, I'm just going to start talking about this book. So the Camelot Betrayal picks up where the Guinevere deception left off. We have Guinevere and Arthur who are dealing with the fact that the Dark Queen is now back. Mordred is who knows where. Lancelot is beating herself up about the fact that she could not best Mordred. And now we also have a wedding on our hands. This second book in this series continues with Guinevere trying to figure out how she can continue to protect Camelot, what her place in everything is, because she still doesn't quite know who she is, and there's the possibility of her starting to learn some of her own history. We also have the story of Tristan and Isolde thrown into this as well. I thought it was fairly interesting how Kiersten White took that original story and kind of switched it up a bit. We still have some very solid LGBTQIA representation in the second book. It continues on from where the first book really started setting those foundations. One thing I do have to mention about this book is it started to get a little long-winded and kind of boring. There was a lot of mini stories inside the overarching plot of the series. And so it kind of meandered through all of this, kind of trying to build up Guinevere as a character and Arthur as a character and, of course, Lancelot as well. Some of it I wasn't very excited about. It was a lot of the same old, same old. Guinevere is still not very good at recognizing what is or is not the threat, and that very much hindered me enjoying a lot of this story. Like I said, I do have a little bit of a bias against Guinevere as a character. Usually Lancelot as well. Lancelot here, I am kind of on the fence about. There is some romance in this story that is kind of hard to believe the connection for. I still don't see how it happens. And then we also have the bonding of Guinevere and Arthur that, because of how everything is set up, it's hard to like those two characters together. There is times when Guinevere says something internally about their relationship and I just kind of want to like slap her upside the face. Maybe because I am so strongly associated with Arthur as a character and I really love a good slow burn romance, and that's kind of what Arthur is trying to build up here. And Guinevere is just kind of, no. she's a little confused. That's pretty much this whole series in a nutshell, is just Guinevere being really confused. I can kind of see some things going on with Lancelot and Guinevere, but I don't think White is really going to run with that original story plot. So while this does take a lot of the original characters in the Arthurian legend, it starts to add a lot of grayness to it. So Merlin isn't necessarily the best character in the world. Morgan Le Fay and Mordred aren't the worst characters in the world. And usually I do like when things have this shades of gray. There's two stories, there's two sides, there's a lot more going on than just black and white. But there's something so solid about the Arthurian legend and the fact that you're trying to like switch the narrative. Sometimes I don't want to let that go. And that's just me as a reader. I might be just a little bit more biased that way. But if you enjoy adding in those shades of gray and maybe not having the heroes being the ultimate heroes of the story, you'll probably like this series. It's not bad. It was just slow, and I'm not super excited about a lot of the characters. Am I going to read the next book? That is the ultimate question. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think it's something that I'm going to track down and read. I mean, if it ends up in my possession for whatever reason, maybe I'll read it. I'm just not ultimately that excited about this series. I'm not. It's not bad. I'm just not. Let me know if you are continuing on in this series, and let me know all the things that you like really truly enjoy about this series. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I don't know. But this is the point in which I'm going to go into the spoiler section. So be warned, here there be spoilers. How do I even begin to describe how much I just want to strangle Guinevere as a character? There are so many things that are so fairly obvious to me as a reader, and the fact that she always does the exact opposite or goes the exact opposite way. Like when she first thought her sister was probably there to cause trouble and all that kind of stuff. And not really seeing the fact that there is this maidservant that's probably the true threat because she's very much out of place to everything. And then every time Guinevere's like, I need to have my own quest, and she does the whole saving of Isolde, but just ultimately pulls everything apart in a way that, of course, she's now regretting at the end of the book. And Merlin has repeatedly said, don't do it with magic, do it as a queen kind of thing, the repercussions, and he would know. And I know we're starting to build Merlin up as kind of this very... not the greatest guy in the world. I mean, but you can ultimately say that about a lot of leaders who are thinking about the bigger pictures and not the individuals. And there is ultimately, unfortunately, you can't think about both at the same time all of the time. And so Merlin has done a lot of damage in his quest to do good. And Guinevere is starting to see that, and the fact that Guinevere might actually be Guinevere, there's just something that has happened that made her think otherwise. And the fact that she's starting to think that the Lady of the Lake is her mom. The Lady of the Lake is playing a huge role in all of this, and then her connection with the Dark Queen. I kind of like where all of that is going. I'm still struggling with the fact that Arthur is 18 and we've given him a son. Well, at the same time, everyone believes he's like this virgin king. And I do understand the slowness that Arthur is trying to take, because I mean he's dealt with a lot of things, and personally it kind of drove me nuts when Guinevere kept on comparing how she was lusting after Mordred with her relationship with Arthur. And the fact that the whole thing with Mordred just feels weird in the first place and kind of out of left field. I know we were hinting at things, but all of a sudden it's like this huge, he was the thing I relied upon, he was the one I always talked to, he was my biggest connection, he makes me feel all of these things. When in the first book, yeah, we saw little bits and pieces of some of that, but at the same time, it's hard to see him as that rock that she keeps on painting him as. I am one of those people who I truly enjoy a slow burn, a build, a partnership, a relationship over the insta lust kind of stuff. So the fact that we're trying to make this kind of triangle, not a huge fan of it. I mean, I almost hope that we throw Lancelot in there, because Lancelot has always made more sense because of how Arthur is always away all the time. That's how the bond with Lancelot was formed. And here I can very much see that happening. But the Mordred thing, the Mordred thing is just throwing me off. I don't know. Tell me down below what you think. This is all of my thoughts on everything in this book. I don't know. Like I said, don't think I'm going to actively seek out the next book. But things happen. Sometimes I do things that I don't think I'm going to do. Yeah. Anyways, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, hit that bell, get the notifications, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.